alive. But back to the scientists, right? The goo exploded and created this intelligent universe. They don't think it's intelligent, but it just came from nothing. In fact, it's such a miracle, it would be like nature, a tornado rolling through like a forest and then building an automobile, right? Just kind of running through as this wild nothingness with no consciousness, just at random, spinning on the alleged ball that is the planet, even though a lot of people think it's flat because they think we have a flat Earth. Get to that in a moment. And then all of a sudden, it created the intricacies and the intelligent design of things like cells. Even when you look at it from a microscopic level, you see a cell has all these moving different parts, proteins synthesizing, mitochondria, all these different elements of a cell, hundreds and hundreds of different elements and protons and neutrons moving away. And if they didn't move around in that very specific form, then life wouldn't exist at all. So the example of a tornado rolling through and then assembling a Boeing 747 randomly in the middle of a forest, as insane as that sounds, that's actually what they've sold the American people. The biggest, arguably, and greatest cover-up in world history. They say you're a monkey because one man, a scientist who followed scientism, named Charles Darwin, who was also a Freemason, said so. In fact, they never explain all these holes in the gap. So let me give you an example. If we evolved from, let's say, goo, and then we turned into fish, how did the fish later develop wings? How did the fish turn into frogs? Even if it was over millions and millions of years. How come there are no fossils of the in-between the fish and the frog? Shouldn't there be like fossils of a fish frog somewhere? Shouldn't we have found like millions and millions of those in the sediment of the earth? The transitionary period, I talked about that yesterday. The transitionary period from a fish to a frog or a fish to a bat. How did they develop wings? Where are the fossils? Why are there no fossils? Also, I noticed yesterday, Neil deGrasse Tyson, and I've known this for a while, he was on camera belittling flat earthers. And he suggested, he says this is what science has found now, that the Earth is actually not a sphere. Yeah, that's right. He says it's not a sphere, it's much more like a pear shape.
Not actually a sphere, it's oblate. And officially it's an oblate spheroid. That's what we call it. But not only that, it's slightly wider below the equator than above the equator.
A little chubbier.
A little chubbier.
Yeah.
Chubby's a good way. It's like pear-shaped.
Right? You know what a pear looks like. I probably should have brought one in. It's a pear, he says. This is the scientist, right, who ridicules flat earthers. Well, Neil, if the Earth you've been telling us is a sphere is now a pear, then how come all the doctored, fake, NASA photoshopped images that they allegedly show us from outer space and places like the moon appear to be a sphere and not a pear? Shouldn't be NASA be showing us images of a pear? But they don't. You know, this insanity is absolutely unreal.